This is the Roulette Master, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe by hitting the red subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Also ring that bell for notifications because I have new content releasing every single day of the week at 9 a.m. I received a lot of messages about the video that I did about waiting for opposites before you start a progression, and one of the comments I got was from a subscriber named JoeKind, and he said he not only does that, but he actually logs many spins before he starts actually playing because of, he calls it the law of averages, and he takes it a little even farther than I do, which I think is great. So again, for those of you seeing this video for the first time, what I'm talking about is that always looking for something in a row to bet against before you start a progression. And in this case, we have two evens in a row, so we would bet odd and start the progression there. Now, JoeKind says he does that a lot of times with 4 or 5 before he starts. And we won that one. So now we would go against red. So we'd bet on black now. We'd go back to $10. But yeah, the more patience you have and the more you can get out of the way in a progression at the beginning, the better off you're going to be. Like I said, it won't work all the time because in small sample sizes it can hurt you. But in the long run, what JoeKind says about the law of averages is true. That when they test the roulette wheels, they make sure that each number comes up about the same amount of time so that it's a fair system. But what that tells you is in the long run, you're going to eventually see the numbers come up that have not come up. In the short run, maybe not, but I still feel like it helps to bet against that and make your progression longer. And in this case, we'd be betting against 19 to 36. So let's do 1 to 18. Okay, and then we double that to 20. Okay, and then we'll double to 40. And for those of you seeing this for the first time, basically it just makes the progression 2 times longer before you bust. So even though we lost at 40 there, now we go to 80. But if I hadn't done that, I'd be at 320 right now. And we got the win. So now we look for something in common to bet against again. We're up $30, and we'd have to bet against black with red right now to get started off. But I do believe if you have the patience to do what JoeKind talks about and wait for 4 or 5, then you really increase your odds. And let's bet 20 on red now. So I'm going to try to do that here coming up. Okay, now we're at 40. The only problem with that is you would have to wait a little bit longer. So let's go ahead and spin without betting. And for those of you playing online where it times you out, you might have to make an extremely small bet, like 50 cents, to keep from kicking you out. Well, let's spin until we get a few in a row of something. Okay, so now we have 2 lows in a row. And normally I would start there and bet against the low by going high. But now we're going to wait for 4 or 5 like JoeKind's talking about. Okay, now we have 4 to bet against. So there you go. Now we can go 19 to 36 for $10. And if it continues low, we probably would have busted, but it didn't. But I hope you see the benefit of doing that. And now we have 3 odds in a row. So if we're doing it his way, let's sit out even longer till we get 4 in a row at least to bet against. And I think we have 4 in a row already. Yep, now we go even. But I enjoyed all the comments, and I see that a lot of you actually agree. That worked on the first one that time. A lot of you actually agree that in the law of averages, even though you realize that then it might not show up immediately in the short term, but in the long run, all these numbers end up coming up similar amounts. And let's see what we have next here. Let's spin without betting till we see something in common. And basically, you will make a little bit less money because of the time you spend waiting for these things to start, but it definitely is safer. And let's see how long it takes to get another one with 4 in a row. Okay. Just keep spinning. And again, like I said, if you're doing it online so you don't time out, bet 50 cents on each one, or bet red against black if it lets you do that for 50 cents. But let's keep spinning. Okay, let's keep going here. Okay, we got to keep spinning if we're looking for 4 in a row to bet against. But that brings up the question, would you rather play and win less and be safe, or occasionally have a bad loss and but make more money when you're winning? So hope I said that right, but I think you know what I mean. And now we have 3 black in a row. Now 4. Okay, so we could bet against black now. Let's go red for 10. We're up 60. Alright, and that worked. Okay, now we're up 70. But then you go back to spinning without betting again. And if you're in an actual live table, you also can't usually be sitting down if you sit out spins like this. So remember that as well. You need to probably stand up while you're playing if you're going to be sitting out a lot, because a lot of times if you're sitting down and you're not betting, they'll tell you you can't do that. So remember that. And then again, also in the online, so you don't get kicked out, make very tiny 50-cent bets until you're able to spin. Like we just got 4 in a row red, so now let's go black. And the first time you do this and then lose a bunch in a row, you're going to realize that when you win it, but we won that one already, but when you say you win it at 160, you would have for sure busted if you hadn't waited for 4 chances, because then it would have went to 320 and then 640 and then 1280 if you can do it, but you probably would lose everything. So it's kind of a wake-up call that this is a good way of gambling. And now we have 2 in a row. Like I said, it just takes patience and the willingness to not make quite as much money as fast, which I know for some people this would get a little bit boring, waiting for 4 in a row, but it will pay off. Alright, let's keep spinning. It's also interesting to see the average time that it takes before you can make a play again. It usually comes up quicker than you think when you're playing all 6 outside bets, but right now we've only got 2 in a row of anything. The 2 in a row, the reason I play that a lot is because there's almost always 2 in a row of something alike out of 6 outside bets. So now we have 3 in a row even. Let's see if we get another even here. Nope, 0. And this waiting can actually, when you hit zeros and you're waiting, it's like, all right, that's fantastic. So you can miss some bad numbers. Okay, so we're back to anytime you hit a 0 and you're waiting for 4 in a row, you're going to be spinning a little longer. Okay, now we have 2 reds, 2 evens in a row. Now we have 3 evens in a row. And I think we're ready to bet again. That's 4 evens in a row. Yep, so now we're going to go odd for 10. We're up 80 right now. And again, you can see that it's taking a little longer to accumulate money, but it's much safer. And we won the first one there with an odd. Fantastic. So then we're just back to waiting again. And this just requires a lot of patience. And if you don't have this much patience, do the way I do it a lot of the time with it, which is 2 in a row. Because 2 in a row with 6 outside bets happens all the time. You almost never have to sit out a spin if you're just looking for 2 in a row. Alright, let's see what we have now. We have 3 black, 3 even in a row. Okay, and now we have 4 even in a row. So we're going to bet odd for $10. Okay. I'm glad we lost that because we're going to stay on odd. And hopefully we get a long run here just to prove to you that if we hadn't done it this way, we would have busted. Alright. Another loss. Now we're at 40. And now you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row even. I hope it goes even again just to prove my point. It finally went odd though. And we won, but if you get up there in the 160 to 360 through 320 range, and when you're doing it this way, and then you get the win around 160, you would know for sure that, man, I would have busted and lost $1,000 if I hadn't waited for 4 in a row to bet against. And now we're up $100, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a video that, if you have an idea you'd like to send in, I would love to see it and make a video about it. That's the favorite part of the channel for me, is seeing new ideas come up and showcasing them on the channel. So please send those in. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit that red subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Also ring that bell for notifications because I have new content releasing every single day of the week. And this is the Roulette Master, and have a great day.